In 1912, something horrific happened there. 6 children and 2 adults were brutally murdered in their sleep. Their skulls crushed by the swing of an axe. The killer was never found. It was October of 2018. I was standing in the kitchen of my old family home. I'd been living there for nearly a decade, taking care of my parents. Mom had already passed away, and Dad was in a nursing home. I was just about to switch off the light and head upstairs when I suddenly caught a whiff of something familiar. It was his cologne, Aqua Velva, strong, sharp, and unmistakable. The kind of scent that lingered long after he'd left a room. I froze. For a moment, I thought I was just imagining it, but the scent didn't fade. It was as if he'd just been there, standing beside me. Half laughing to myself, I said aloud, "Guess Dad just died," and immediately felt stupid for saying it. That's the kind of thing you hear in old ghost stories, not real life. I went upstairs and sat at my desk, trying to shake off the thought. Then the phone rang. It was the nursing home. The voice on the other end said, "Please come right away." A chill ran through me. The son? That wasn't the first strange thing to happen in this house. They started before I was even 5 years old. Back then, it wasn't just lights flickering or footsteps echo. I saw a full-bodied apparition. My parents told me it was just my imagination, and for years I believed I was crazy. People who see ghosts are crazy, right? Then, in my 30s, I told my mom about it again, and she laughed. She'd seen it too. So had her mother. Dad never wanted to talk about what he saw, but you could see it in his eyes. He was afraid of this house. When I moved away, I thought maybe the spirits had found peace, but after coming back, I've had visitors who refuse to stay inside after dark. They've heard things, seen things, and those are just the ones who talk about it. Maybe this house will never truly rest, and maybe neither will I. There was a doctor working a late shift at a hospital. At this hospital, patients wore colored wristbands, green for the living, red for the deceased. One night, the doctor was told to fetch some supplies from the basement. He stepped into the elevator and found a woman already inside, a patient. He smiled politely, pressed the button for the basement, and noticed she hadn't pressed any floor herself. He thought it was odd, but said nothing. When the elevator doors opened to the basement floor, he saw a man limping toward them down the hallway. Something about him felt wrong. Then the doctor saw it, a red wristband on the man's arm. Panic surged through him. He slammed the close button until the doors shut tight. The elevator started rising. The woman beside him frowned. "Why did you do that?" "He just wanted to use the elevator." The doctor's voice trembled. "Did you see his wrist? That man was dead. He died last night." "I know. I performed his surgery." The woman was silent for a moment. Then slowly, she raised her own hand. Around her wrist, a red band. She smiled and said, "Like this one?" And in that instant, the elevator was filled with nothing but the sound of his heartbeat. In the small town of Villisca, Iowa, there stands an old house known as the Axe Murder House. In 1912, something horrific happened there. 6 children and 2 adults were brutally murdered in their sleep. Their skulls crushed by the swing of an axe. The killer was never found. In 1994, a woman bought the property. She restored it exactly as it looked in 1912 and opened it to the public, a place for ghost hunters and horror lovers to visit. It costs $428 a night to stay there, and those who do often report strange experiences, sound of footsteps, children whispering, and sometimes the vision of a man carrying an axe roaming the halls. But in November of 2014, something happened that made the legend darker than ever. A man named Robert Stephen Larson Jr. came with friends for a paranormal visit. Just after midnight, around 12:45 a.m., the same time the 1912 murders began, his friends heard a scream. They found Robert on the floor, a knife in his chest. The wound was self-inflicted. He survived, but he never spoke publicly about what happened that night. For Martha Lynn, the owner of the house, the incident was deeply unsettling. "It's publicity," she said, "but not the kind you want. I don't want people thinking they'll lose control in that house." Still, the Villisca Axe Murder House remains open for tours and for overnight stays. Visitors still report cold whispers, faint cries in the dark, and the feeling that something unseen still walks those halls. These 3 stories aren't just tales. They're echoes of the moments where the line between life and death fades away.